Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is the Film Discussers podcast. Now, the name is TBD, so we're open to suggestions. So just drop anything you think would sound good in the comments, and we'll pick our favorite one. I'm your host, John Sineski. I am the film student of the group. Today, I'm going to be joined by my two good friends. We have Alberto Garcia. He's the Kino film and media connoisseur.
I am also a connoisseur of American anime.
Yes, that is true. We are also joined by my friend Jackson Warder, and he is the animation connoisseur.
You can just say weeb. Let's be real. We all know what's up. I am a massive weeb. Hi, though. I am Jackson Warder. What's up?
Okay, so now that we know who's who on this podcast, let's get into today's episode and what we're going to be talking. So all three of us have seen the new hit TV show on Amazon, Invincible, and we're more or less going to be talking about what did we like, what did we not like, our thoughts, what do we think is going to happen. It's pretty much just going to be a knowledge dump of what we thought about the show so far. And of course, there will be massive spoilers. We are going to be talking about very important story details. So if you have not seen Invincible, I would go watch it and then come back to this podcast and see if you agree with us.
If you're a man's man, you could just venture forward with the spoilers, but
Oh yeah.
I guess, yeah, if you want to do it the ballsy Chad way, then that's also how it can be. Anyway,
yes, I specifically listen to podcasts that have spoilers just to interest me in the whatever it is.
That is metal right there, man.
Okay, so I guess you have two choices, but anyway, let's get into it. So right off the bat, I want to talk about kind of what's our initial gut reaction to the show. Do one of you guys want to open up the floor?
Literally? Go for it, Al. You got this, man.
Nah, I really let you go first, just to test the water.
Okay, true gentlemen. What I was going to say is literally the first thing that came to my mind when I watched this show was Young Justice and the boys had a love child. I feel like just tonally and like plot-wise, it's got like the the whole teenage angst thing with high school and relationships going on. But it's also got the boys thing of just being, spoiler alert, brutally violent and realistic and kind of pessimistic to that extent, just in its portrayal of superheroes and violence and action. So I just thought it was kind of the perfect blend of those two other shows, which are also both very good.
Yeah, I agree with your statement about it being violent. To me, this was kind of like...
too, even though I've never seen The Boys, the TV show. I have read the comic.
Yes.
The whole thing.
That is true.
I would recommend it. It's very good.
But yes, I agree. It kind of is almost as if this was like a Neil Grindhouse superhero coagulation with just how over the top some of the violence was. But overall, I was pretty entertained. I definitely enjoyed the show. I'm definitely going to come back. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be coming back for future seasons, which I think have already been confirmed.
Actually, yeah, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page right now. It has already been renewed through a second and third season.
Okay, yeah.
Release.
Yeah, okay, so we're right there.
What a coincidence. I had my Wikipedia page up on the show.
Bunch of film nerds. Look at us.
All right, Alberto, what were your initial reactions to the show?
Yes, a masterpiece. A real... just terrific. Oh, man. It is, it is to the superhero genre what Watchmen was back in the 80s.
Okay.
Oh, that's a pretty
bit bold. Good. A bit bold, I know, but I mean, look at the cultural osmosis. What? All right, I've already screwed that up.
Oh, sorry. We can cut stuff out too while I'm editing. So if you gotta
everything stays. Everything stays.
Everything stays. Yeah. So it's a cultural osmosis. I'm never gonna get that word right. Osmosis.
Just casually looking up what that means.
Oh yes. Cultural osmosis.
And it's certainly hit the cultural zeitgeist. I'm just saying stuff that sounds like it's like an equivalent.
You sound very professional.
You're trying to write an academic paper in the middle of the podcast. All right. So I think it's fair to say you were a big fan of the show.
This isn't academic.
All right. Well, my actual opinion is it's pretty good. You know, I really liked it. I'll be quite honest. I don't remember episode 5 and 6. Probably because I didn't watch them. I'm going to be quite honest. I didn't watch those episodes. I've only watched some clips on YouTube. All right. I watched episode 4, 1 through 4, and 7 and 8. I just didn't watch episode 5 and 6.
Okay, well, we appreciate your honesty. So now that we've given our initial reactions to the show, I think what we should do is let's go into like more specifics on what made us like the show. What were the things that we really liked? And I know for me personally, what really interested me was the whole family dynamic between Omni-Man, Mark, and his mom. I thought that's really the emotional crux of the show. And that really
100%.
comes to a culmination in episode 7 and 8. And that's why I thought, before episode 7, I was like, this is good. It's nothing special. But when episodes 7 and 8 hit, I was like, okay, yeah, now I'm really interested on where the show's going to go.
Whoa. Nothing special. What's special? Go in the back and...
I would say the 7 and 8, but I would also add on to that, the first episode. Don't sleep on the first episode, especially that ending scene.
Yes.
Like, holy crap, the first episode and the last my jaw, like, I knew something was up just because of the way the show was being advertised, but I tried to go in with as few spoilers as I could, which I usually don't do, so I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
But, like, I got through the first episode, I was like, okay, I thought this was going to be something else, but I'm down for just, Young Justice kind of thing. And then, no, everybody just gets bloodbathed, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's
You gotta love how, like, they're all, like, voiced by big name actors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Actually,
you have,
on the
like,
subject
Maggie
of
from
the
The
actors,
Walking Dead.
like,
Yeah, I noticed that one.
on the subject of the actors, that's another really big point for the pro section of this show that I had. Just the voice cast is so good. You got, like, Stephen Yeun, Sandra Oh, and J.K. Simmons as the family, of course. But then, like, the side cast is all really great. The guy who voices Rex Splode is hilarious. The guy who voices William... The guy who voices William is the guy who voiced Elder Price in the Book of Mormon. And as a musical nerd, I love that so much. Also, Cecil. Everything Cecil did was just great. Great character.
Walton Goggins is just...
Same with Damien Darkblood. Damien, he gave me real, like, kind of gave me, like, Hellboy meets The Question meets Rorschach vibes. And I'm pretty sure he's voiced by the same guy who does Mr. Krabs. So, as a SpongeBob fan, I gotta respect that, the versatility of the VA.
There's definitely a lot of
it's like a star-studded cast
in there, too.
I could see that.
Yeah, I definitely second everything Jackson said. I think I all enjoyed those aspects of the show, too.
Yeah, what's also funny is that Justin Roiland does a voice.
Wait, that's right. He's at the college. He's like that rich frat kid. I heard that was immediately like, oh my, okay, there it is.
All right, Alberto, what did you like about the show?
Well, I second everything that's been said so far, but I gotta say, it's also pro and a con, the animation. There's a fluidity, especially with the violence and just the character movement. There's a really great mix of 3D and 2D animation. And, it's always great to see 2D animation. We love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it's just amazing, like, just the whole social attitude towards, like, just superhero events in the show. Like, everybody's just so unfazed by this point.
They're so used to it.
Yeah, that's a good observation.
Dad's got another planet. Okay.
Yeah,
just a mundane thing by this point.
Yeah, I like the realism to it. There's a sort. As realistic as you can get for like a 2D animated like superhero show. Like they treat it very much like it's part of the world. Like you could feel that being just a natural part of the world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I think another positive would just be the overall characters. I mean, a lot of people,
100%.
you know, they say, oh, well, you know, you only really care about, you know, Omni-Man and, you know, his relationship with all the characters and all that. But, you know, I gotta disagree. You know, I mean, there's plenty of interesting characters on the show. Right
I would
now.
agree with that.
No, I agree with you too.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Again,
Eve is one of the best characters that's not part of the main family.
Eve, yeah, definitely.
Cecil.
I think, again, I mentioned him before, like, the standouts for me were definitely Cecil.
Yeah.
And he had a short role in the show, but I really liked Damien. He was very cool. But, like, there are just plenty of cool... Rex Blode is just hilarious douche in every scene.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to bring that up. I think Rex Blode is a really good character because of, like, how... You know how hateable they make him. You know he's the kid, and the way they like slam dunk on his character so many times. Like
that scene with Monster Girl.
Exactly, I was about to bring that up. The scene where Monster Girl beats the crap out of him is one of my favorite scenes in that show, just because of how funny it is to see this guy who who's so cocky and arrogant just get get the snot kicked out of him. It's hilarious.
And doesn't the robot literally clone itself just to steal his girl? Like it clones him just to steal his girl.
Yeah,
that's
that happens
hilarious.
too.
Yeah, the robot just yeah.
Yeah, the whole robot side plot is very interesting, to say the least.
Oh yeah. You know, some people like they don't care about like the whole clone thing, but I thought that character was like fun.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when he's like talking with his clone, he's just like, "Oh, you're an idiot."
All right, so
you're an idiot.
I think another thing that I like, and this might just be because I watch way too much anime, but I like that. I mean, like the realism is not just in the world, but it's also like in the story. Like the final episode, for example, if this was an anime, right, Mark would have gotten some power up or some rage boost or something, and like beat his dad back, right? In this show, no, like he's not there yet, and he gets his ass whooped.
Yeah.
And the show is very unapologetic about the fact that he's not that strong yet. Very unapologetic. That train scene, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah,
I think
it's funny how the show is called Invincible, yet Mark gets beat up on multiple occasions in the show.
I mean, he's not dead, so technically, I mean...
He's come close several times.
Invincible. As Seth Rogen would say.
Yeah.
No. Wait, isn't Seth Rogen in this? Isn't he the alien dude?
Yeah. I mean, he's so good at the end too.
Yeah, and he's like, well, I gotta get through high school first. He's like, what's high school? I was entertained by that.
Yeah, that was a fun plot twist. Okay, so getting out of the things we liked, what do we think the show could have done a better job on?
The CGI animation. Oh my god. You gotta check the background.
No, I agree with you. There's definitely some moments where the animation was very poor and stood out to me in a very bad way.
And like, I think it definitely had its good moments, but for the most part, I thought it was kind of just like mad. Like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like spectacular. Like with the exception of some of like the fight scenes and like the gore, for the most part, like, it was alright.
Yeah.
I can forgive this because it's a first season.
Exactly.
And, they're
definitely going to get a significant budget increase.
Yeah.
Absolutely. After this.
Yeah. The animation really was not necessarily the fault of the producers. They were working with what they had. So
I think another big problem I have with this, especially, I think this is a problem that's going to be solved in time with later seasons. But I found there was a lot of reliance on like setting up things for later seasons, but just in the context of season 1 alone with no like further context, it just kind of was like, okay. Like for example, like Robot had this whole thing where it looked like he was evil and was like working with the bad guys, and then nope, he's good and we're not going to talk about it. Or there was that episode where Mark goes to Mars, right? And that one Martian sneaks away, and there's that whole parasite outbreak, and then, no, we're not going to talk about it. And then
Yeah,
there's that weird scene at the end with the Mauler twins where they're surrounded and they just like peacefully surrender. Like, did they like the pot pie that much? Is that just a joke?
I really liked he was like apologizing to the unconscious guard. He's like, "Oh, sorry, Pete."
Yeah. So I mean, like, but I feel like all of these are things that are going to continue into a next season. But like in the context of season 1, like they happen and then we just don't talk about them ever again.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little sloppy.
Yeah. I mean, if there was never a second season and this was it, it would be, there'd be so many unresolved notes. So
yeah, it'd probably be like a very high 7 out of 10, but it is not. It is much higher.
I know for me, the big thing, but so I was talking before about how before episode 7, I was like, it's nothing special, but I'm enjoying it. And the big reason I had for that was because at the end of the first episode, right, Omni-Man kills the Guardians, and that kind of becomes like this big, what's happening moment.
Mystery, yeah.
And
it's the big, it's a big holy shit.
And they don't.
You could say that.
The problem is they don't tell you why he does that till like episode 7. They string you along for like 5 episodes, and you're like, okay, well, why is Omni-Man pretending to be a good guy if he killed the heroes? What's going on? Like, was he mind controlled? And so that to me was kind of an issue. The fact that they waited so long to kind of tell us what was happening. Because if you want a similar situation, you can look at the first episode of Talentless Nana.
Yes, I'm so proud you brought that up.
Major spoiler for this, by the way, but at the end of the episode, the main character, Nana, kills this character who we thought she was friends with the entire time. And
we thought he was the main character, too.
Yeah, that's part of the twist. But yeah, anyway, Nana kills this character who we thought was the main character, and we're kind of wondering why she did that. And they tell you exactly why at the beginning of the next episode. There's no time where you're left wondering. And so I kind of wish they did that here, where we kind of knew why Omni-Man did this, and the season was building to his family finding out about it.
I mean, I can see your point, but I kind of like how they keep us in the dark a little bit. Like, if you just knew immediately, it would keep it kind of like I saw this video a while ago that was talking about like Omni-Man is a twist villain done right, and that usually, like, instead of blinding the audience to his villainy, they're blinding the characters. Like, we know, and there's that dramatic irony created by that contrast that the characters don't know, and we kind of get to watch them find out and figure out more about why through their eyes.
Oh, yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, I mostly agree with you. I mean, I feel like if we
setup. There's a lot of foreshadowing, and I mean, it's not just like, they're stringing us along, but it kind of does take its time to reveal the whole shebang.
Yeah.
I appreciated that personally, but I could see why one might not.
Yeah. I mean, I think it comes down to, to each his own, I think.
There's another thing I want to bring up. I hear, like, some people have been, like, Amber.
Amber.
Getting some hate. What's up with that? I definitely have my own thoughts on that, but, like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, so this is essentially, I will break down why people dislike Amber. She comes in, she's Mark's boyfriend, they're dating. She breaks up with him because he's busy being a superhero and doesn't give her the time of day. And we're led to believe that she doesn't know he's a superhero. And then, I think it's episode 7, she reveals that this entire time she knew Mark was a superhero. Yet, she still was like, and the reason that's so upsetting for some people is because if you go back to the whole episode with the college, where Mark saves everybody from the robot as Invincible, and then he comes back as Mark,
she's so upset.
Yeah, she unloads on Mark, saying like, how could you run away and stuff. But she reveals the very next episode that she knows it's Mark, so Mark didn't run away. And basically, I watched some other guy's video on this, and basically what he said was that he thinks the show took that route because they wanted to show us how, like, Amber's smart and was able to figure out that Mark was invincible, which is good, but, then it doesn't make her past actions make any sense. Like, why would she be so mad at Mark if she knew that he actually saved her?
I see that.
And then
but, like, even though, like, take away that college episode, there are still several episodes of him like continuously ditching her. So like,
Yes.
I get why, but
Yes, I mean, I think
Yes,
prior to that
definitely
moment, I
yeah,
think
it's definitely a topic of much debate.
mhm.
I think prior
See,
to that moment, Amber was a pretty relatable character, and you could feel bad for her. But like now that you see how angry she gets at Mark, knowing full well what his
Yeah.
job entails, it's kind of hard to really sympathize with her. I feel.
yeah, I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that. Like my thing that I wrote down when preparing for this, I wrote like at the end, there's that one scene where she comes back after Omni-Man beats him. She's like, "Oh, we're good now, we're back," and it just kind of felt weird and like rushed. And like if she was like, if I wish they would have given that a bigger, more like developed scene, because it just feels like, oh, we need to give Mark something after almost dying. So like let's just bring Amber back and they're together again, and like that's okay if you want to put them together again. Like maybe give it more of a scene or like an explanation. I don't know. That was my thought.
Yeah, that's fair.
Me, I don't write nothing down. To quote Paulie Larry.
I mean, you guys are like film experts here. I gotta be on my game, you know.
Oh, definitely, you know. I mean, ain't no shame in writing stuff down.
What can I say?
I mean, it definitely would help me out if I did write any notes while I was watching. Because, I mean, I did just, like, rewatch episodes 1 through 4.
Is there anything that you specifically like disliked, Alberto, that hasn't been brought up yet? Because I have something, but what are you thinking, man?
Oh, I mean, it's a bit hard for me to pinpoint some of the flaws. I mean, I know I had a few cons. I mean, the one that really stuck out to me was just, like, the animation. I mean, it was both good and bad.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I mean, I already pointed that one out, but, I mean, I was just like, you know, there'd be, like, a scene of, like, two characters talking, and in the background you would just see these, like, 3D animated models of characters walking, and it just looks bad. It looks absolutely terrible. I mean, there's some, like, good CGI animation, but there's, like, some, like, stuff and it's just like, okay, that looks a little cheap.
I feel that.
But in terms of, like, cons, I mean, I guess a little bit of pacing, but, I mean, hey, that happened.
It definitely takes its time. Which, I mean, that kind of gets into one of my points that I was going to make, in that, like, with the exception of, like, the first and the last episodes, which are, like, the big, like, stunning Omni-Man fight scenes, most of the action in this show just kind of felt, like, I don't know, like, generic. Like, I've seen it before. I've seen superheroes fighting before. Like, Young Justice, The Boys, like, name any other, like, most of this has been seen before. Not to say that it's, like, terrible, but, like, definitely, I mean, John was mentioning that earlier, and that, like, before the last two episodes, like, it was good, but it was nothing to write home about. And I think a lot of that is just, like, again, like, I wouldn't say the action is bad. It's just, I've seen it before, and, I mean, you know, it's kind of like a parody of the superhero genre, or, like, a deconstruction of it. So maybe that's on purpose, but otherwise,
I would say, like, I think, like, episode 2 was pretty good, too. I mean, with the whole,
the aliens coming in.
Yeah, I like that.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, especially
like,
the part where, like,
seen,
Mark, like, yeah, especially the part where, like, Mark, like, tries to save the old lady, just fucking murders her by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting, pretty shocking
I mean, like,
part.
yes, I can see that, but also, like, how many other movies or cartoons have you seen where there are superheroes, like, fighting an alien army? And that's not to say that one was bad. It's just, like, with the exception of, like, really, like,
I mean,
with the
to be
Omni-Man
fair,
scenes,
I mean, you
like,
didn't see, like, innocent people get blown to, like, giblets.
that's true.
I would
That's
say,
pretty
yeah,
true.
I think the film uses the blood and gore to kind of differentiate itself from other superhero shows.
I mean, not just the blood and gore. I mean, just to show the tragedy, the human cost. I mean, you look at, like, Man of Steel, and it's just, like, I mean, I remember watching that in theaters and being like, Jesus Christ, I mean, there's, like,
Just
all these
smashing
buildings being, like, destroyed. I mean, this whole city is destroyed. I mean, there's, like, millions of people dead.
Yeah,
I
what
mean, did
is
Superman really save anybody?
yeah, is this a kaiju film?
I mean,
And then you watch, like, episode 8, and it's, like, it's almost like the antithesis of that film.
Yeah.
right. Also, did you guys notice there's kind of like a little overarching story with like John Hamm and his stepson, and like
Yeah, I like
it's
that.
been a few days since I watched it, but like what was the point of that? Because it came up a few times, so they wanted us to like pay attention to it. But like, what was the point of that?
I think it's
Like,
just a wholesome
I feel
story.
like it was a reference to the whole father-son relationship that Mark and Omni-Man had, and
yeah, I could see that.
I think they want us to care
don't
about the
remember
characters and kill them
anything
later.
past like the whole trip that they had in London.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
remember the other appearances.
It just felt kind of like, I don't know, like I definitely could see that metaphor, but like, I don't know. I felt like it almost didn't need to be there, but I don't know. It wasn't offensive.
I mean, I do know that Robert Kirkman is involved with this, and it's based on his comic, and he also did The Walking Dead.
Right.
So it could be the I want you to care about this character before I cold-heartedly kill them type trope. It could be something like that.
But are people who are like really like, because most people don't like super analyze stuff, right? Like, are most people gonna even remember them by the time season 2 hits?
I don't know. I thought it was a nice little wholesome subplot, and it didn't take up much
Yeah.
screen time.
That's true.
Yeah, I thought like in the first episode it brought a bit of anxiety to that opening fight.
You're right. It did. It did.
Right, you definitely like
Yeah,
care for the people
He has a
around.
stepson.
Okay, so let's move now into what we expect to see from this show in the future. And I mean, I haven't read any of the comics, so I'm not spoiling anything like that.
I don't
I
done a
read
little
a
bit into
little
the
bit.
comics, but not like a ton. Is this what we like expect to happen, or like
Yeah.
what we want to happen?
I guess a little bit of both. I know for me personally, the big thing that I think is gonna happen is I think Omni-Man's gonna get a redemption arc at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
They-
yeah.
I mean, he flew off with the tear in his eyes. so I
They
could
set
definitely
it
see
up. They set it up like it could absolutely happen.
If
I mean,
that's the
there's
case,
definitely
then
an inner conflict with the character.
Yeah.
like
I-
I definitely think more Viltrumites are going to show up if that's the case.
Oh, absolutely.
Man stops being the evil Viltrumite. Like,
Yeah. I
gonna
think
be
that'll
cool.
happen.
Yeah, the parasite, that's going to probably factor into season 2 as well.
Yes, the parasite and like the Martian. I feel like definitely Alan the alien is going to play a bigger role.
We're definitely going to see more Voltrumites soon.
Yeah.
And I've
Robot?
heard of a particularly controversial scene.
Oh God, I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't like know too much about it.
Well, let's just say it involves Mark and a female Voltrumite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay.
will be the last we talk about that.
Okay.
But yeah, let's just hope they nerf it a little, you know?
But yikes. I mean, speaking of males and females, I feel like there's definitely going to be more relationship drama. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, I don't know how long he and Amber are going to be able to stay together because, like, she's, like, I don't know if she's, like, with him now out of pity over the fact that his dad, like, chumped him or what. But there's, like, clearly that whole love triangle thing with Eve. Like, that's definitely going to get developed more.
And speaking of Eve, I mean, if Robot steals Monster Girl from like Rexplosion, is Rexplosion gonna try to go back to Eve? That would be interesting.
Imagine somebody clones you to steal your girl.
I mean, Eve's dad said to forgive him. I mean, that was terrible advice, but he did try and plant that seed. But
I don't know though.
I don't think Eve would take him back. That would be. I think that would be
There's
an
a
upsetting.
whole, like, love triangle though with Mark, Eve, and Amber.
And then you want to add in Rexplosion, Monster Girl, and Robot, and it's like a whole love. It's a love seed.
Or like a, what do you call it? A hexagon?
Yeah, six
Love hex?
characters. Who's gonna end up with who?
In terms of my own personal wish list, I want Cecil to just do more because I loved every scene he was in. He was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he was my favorite. Oh.
And wasn't he like reviving the Immortal? And he was like
Yes.
using that guy to make like zombie robots and stuff. So like he's definitely gonna do more.
I thought it was very interesting that he brought like the human experimenter onto his team. That was. I think that shows you a little bit of how desperate he is to stop Omni-Man.
Yeah,
I really love like the moral grayness with him, and that like he does a whole ton of heinous stuff, but you understand why. Like he's not necessarily a villain. He's not like a great guy either. Like I really like that the grayness thing.
No, I 100% agree. It's a super gray area with Cecil.
Super like well portrayed too. Like I was very invested in him. I love that scene where like Omni-Man's trying to punch him and he's like teleporting around and he's like, dude, what the hell? We were friends. Like, why are we doing this?
Oh, yeah, and then
that was pretty based.
Yeah, he calls him a lying piece of shit. I love that line.
The balls of steel, man.
Just the way he says it. Says it with such conviction.
You know, adding to the personal wish list, I don't know if this will happen, but I really want to see a Damien Darkblood return. I think he's definitely played his role in the story, but damn it, he was so cool. I want him to come back.
Hey, you know, I mean, you know, if he came back from hell once,
he can do it again.
Anything's possible.
Jeez, I don't know if I have much of a personal wish list outside of Omni-Man redemption arc. I mean, I think what will happen is I think now that Viltrumite is like a threat, Cecil's going to bring together Mark, Eve, and the new Guardians, and they're going to kind of combine forces, I think. I could see that happening. Mm-hmm. And so that obviously will bring together a lot of the character dynamics we were talking about with the whole love triangle, love sea thing.
Did you just say love sea?
Yeah, like the ocean.
The sea of love?
I guess that would be one way to think about it, yeah.
Wow, okay, I've never heard that before.
I just made it up, that's why. What about you, Alberto? Anything else you think might happen?
I definitely think that we're going to definitely see more horrible things that'll happen to people.
The violence will continue.
Oh, joy.
The violence, the trauma, you know, I mean, you know, it's all about the payoff, guys. It's all
Yeah, speaking of payoff, that's episode 7 and 8 right there. I think that was, in a way, in a sadistic way, the payoff.
Mark is going to get to a point where, you know, he just goes full berserk mode like he did in episode 2.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. So, just logistically wise, I was looking up the comic to see how long it is, and it actually ended a few years back, and
right, I heard about that.
It lasted 144 issues. And so if you want to compare that to like Walking Dead terms, we're on season 11 now. That's going to be the last one. However,
how many issues of the graphic novel are there?
193.
Okay.
That being said, I don't think Invincible is going to necessarily be 9 seasons because Walking Dead started, the show started when the comic was still like at around issue 80.
9.
So they put a lot of like non-comic stuff into the show. Whereas
they had a lot of stuff out of their bums.
They had to throw in the filler arcs, you know.
Yeah, the fact Invincible the comic is done makes me feel like they're not going to put filler. They're just going to go.
It's nice. They have a clear end point that they can aim for.
Yeah.
Which a lot of shows like adapting something that are ongoing like really struggle with. So that's good. I agree with you, John. I really hope it doesn't go on for, like, if they can find a meaningful way to stretch it out, like 9 seasons, like, okay. But if it goes for, like, 4 to 5 seasons or something, like, if it's not super long, but it's super well done, like, I would be okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think
7 seasons is, like, the sweet spot.
Yeah. I would rather they go, like, short and end meaningfully instead of them like stretching it out for the cash grab.
Yeah, I agree. I think just, don't rush to the end of the comic, but don't elongate the show for money.
Yeah,
that's what they did to Game of Thrones.
I still need to watch that.
All right,
you're just gonna set yourself for disappointment. It's
Alberto's 100% right. I haven't seen Game of Thrones, but now I don't even want to just because everyone hates the final season so much. I'm like, well, what's the point of watching it if I'm just going to be upset?
Isn't it just like sex and murder and then a bad ending?
I think there's a little bit more than that, but there's a lot of that.
I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it.
I mean, a lot of it's just like a real, it's essentially Lord of the Rings, but if it was like realistic.
Oh,
All right.
interesting.
So, I think we're pretty much to the close here. So I say before we check off, do we just want to go around and give kind of our final score out of 10, out of 5 stars, whatever rating you like to use for Invincible?
All right, well, I guess I'll start.
All right, let's hear it.
Al's rating of the day is gonna be a sweet 8.1 out of 10.
I appreciate the point there.
Yeah, I don't give 10s unless it's something special.
No, I'm the
feel
same
that.
way. I'm the same way.
I feel that. As for me, I'm going to give it. I mean, I really liked it, but again, like I mentioned, there are some things with just in the context of season 1 that are not answered. So this rating will probably go up in future seasons. But for now, I'm going to rate it 7 trains filled with passengers that are going to die out of 10. With an asterisk by the 7 for future seasons.
No, yeah, I'm in the same boat as Jackson. I'm the same way. I think this is gonna go up in the future, but yeah, it's for right now. For me, it's a 7, but it's definitely probably gonna go up.
Think, Jackson, think.
I'm clearly not. What can I say?
All right, well,
That's
there,
such a good meme.
there you have it.
These are definitely right opinions. I'm not gonna lie.
This was a pretty keynote discussion. I will not lie.
Well, folks, there you have it. 3 people who watched Invincible, 3 people who liked Invincible. The memes, I gotta say, the memes convinced me to watch the show, so I'm pretty happy for the power of memes compelling me to do something.
Don't sleep on the power of memes.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, folks, that's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Smash the like button.
Slam your like button. Keyboard.
Hit the like button, subscribe, tell us your thoughts. Drop some suggestions for future episodes. What would you like to hear discussed? All right.
So please drop name suggestions. We don't know.
Yes, that
We don't know
too.
what to name it.
Anyway, once again, thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.
Everybody.
Bye bye. Have a great time.